Good morning and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Saturday. Today is June 29th, and we're going to go over to Churchill Downs today. Churchill Downs has a big card of races today, a lot of stake races, and their latter half of the card is full of stakes races. So we're going to play a pick 5, which starts in the 8th race. So let's get started over at Churchill Downs. The 8th race is the Grade 2, the Fleur du Lis, which is 1 mile and an eighth on the dirt. This is for fillies and mares, 4 years old and up, and this is a $500,000 purse, so pretty big race. And it was usually a pretty big race on the racing calendar. So I've got 2 horses that I want to put in here to get this pick 5 started. So I'm going to put the 1 horse was Free Like a Girl for sentimental reasons. Free Like a Girl, just a nice horse. I just discovered this horse earlier this year when she ran at Oaklawn, and saw what this girl does. I mean, she has done a lot of her work in state bred company and stakes races in Louisiana, but when she showed up in open company, she did a great job. She won over at Oaklawn in a nice allowance race, and then ended up running really well in the Grade 1 Apple Blossom, came third to Adair Manor, and then followed that up with a really nice second in the La Troyenne over at Churchill Downs, ran second to Idiomatic. So Free Like a Girl is certainly a nice horse to root for, and I mean, boy, would you love to have a horse like her in the barn. So, sentimental reasons, she's 6-1, maybe an upset, let's see. Then also I'm going to put the 4 horse in here. The 4 horse is Scylla. Now, this horse reminds me of a mistake I made last week. Last week, I had given out Batten Down over in the Ohio Derby, and all the reasons why, and the breeding, and all that good stuff. And here's where my mistake I made. I said that this might have been Close Hatch's first offspring. So, no, I was wrong about that. I forgot about this horse, Scylla, and also a brother that they had was Tacitus. So, Close Hatches certainly knows how to produce winners, because she's now produced 3 stakes winners and 3 graded stakes winners. And, Scylla here is an older brother of Batten Down. So if you liked Batten Down last week, and it was a lot to like there, Scylla, this is, the older sister. So she's a full sister. She's done a lot of great work herself. She's 4 out of 6 winners with a second and a third. So she's done very little wrong. Why I like her today is she's really gotten good lately. Her last 2 starts, she ran at Churchill Downs, and she ran some big races there, and just, seems to improve. And, as we see, when this family of horses starts getting good, look out. So Scylla's 6-5 in the program, no secret there. And, just looks like this is a nice race for her to win, to run well, and then move on to some bigger things, later down the line with probably some, higher graded stakes. So got the 1 and the 4 here to start the pick 5. All right, now let's move on to the next race. The next race is the 9th race. It's the American Derby. And 1 mile and a 16th on the grass. American Derby is a $250,000 race. And I don't know if you remember this, but the American Derby used to be a big race on the Chicago racing calendar over at Arlington Park. So many nice 3-year-olds won that race. It was a historic race at one time. I believe it was a Grade 1. It was part of the Mid-America Triple, which was a series of races they used to run there at Arlington Park for 3-year-olds. And American Derby was the middle leg. So, there's an ode to that, and, what once was back in Chicago many years ago. It's the American Derby now at Churchill Downs, and, it's a black type race for 3-year-olds, So we've got 2 horses here that I want to put in. It looks to me like this might be a race where improving 3-year-olds can really make a impact here. So that's the 1 horse who is Green Light, 3-1 in the program for the Rodolphe Brissett barn. This horse has run 3 times, just broke his maiden last time at Churchill Downs back in mid-May. Just like the way this horse really showed up that day. I thought also ran a big race at Keeneland, came second that day at Keeneland, and really showed some promise there, and then followed that up with a big win in a maiden race. So it looks like an improving horse who, might just improve and take down this field as well. So got the 1 horse was Green Light. Then I'm also going to put the 7 horse was First World War out of the Brendan Walsh barn for the Qatar Racing Stable, and Frankie Dettori up. So Frankie Dettori took this horse last time in the Penn Mile and ended up winning that race. Now, I didn't handicap or bet that Penn Mile day over at Penn National, but I saw Dettori won 2 races that day, and what a talent he is. So this was one of those races. He got up on the wire to win the Penn Mile, which the Penn Mile has become a pretty good race, over the years in its, fairly brief history. They run some nice races, nice horses there and get some good fields, and he won that race. And then also, here's another reason I like this horse. Back in February, this horse won a pretty huge race. The Kitten's Joy ran a huge time there and a nice race with Gaffleone on the horse. So it tells me this wasn't just Frankie Dettori carrying this horse, as a winner in the Penn Mile. This horse has some talent. It could run. Horse is 4-1. I'm not sure I expect, it to be that high, but, First World War is certainly a factor here, and I've got him in here in the pick 5. So that's the 1 and the 7. All right, now let's go over to the 9th race. The 10th race. 10th race is the next leg here. 10th race is the Kelly's Landing. $250,000 race, 6.5 furlong sprint. You got a nice competitive field of sprinters, some old timers, some up and comers. I've got 3 horses I'm going to put in here to move this pick 5 along. The first is the 1 horse Anarchist. Distorted Humor. Certainly not going to let a Distorted Humor get past me at 6-1 for Doug O'Neill and Antonio Fresu. I've always liked this horse. When he jumped into the Doug O'Neill barn last year, he brought him into California. This horse had ran up against some really nice horses in California. Last year, had a great meet at Del Mar. Ended up getting beat on the wire by the Chosen Vron and the Grade 1 Bing Crosby. Chosen Vron is nearly unbeatable in the state of California, so, certainly no shame in running on the wire with him. Then this horse followed it up with a win in the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien at 7 furlongs, running in a big race that day. So, I remember I did have that horse that day. I was fortunate enough to have that horse. Something apparently happened. We haven't seen him since Del Mar, last summer. So here's what I'm wondering. I'm looking at this horse's works. They've just been kind of moderate works. Is Doug O'Neill getting this horse ready for a campaign at Del Mar? Or, I don't know if this field is that great of a field where this horse certainly can be competitive and be a factor, even if he's not cranked up 100%. So I'm going to put Anarchist in here. Then I'm also going to put the 5 horse, who is Hoist to Gold. Hoist to Gold, you might look at the form and go, maybe Hoist to Gold has seen better days. His last race in the Met Mile, I thought was, on paper, doesn't look great, but when you watch it, it's a nice race. They ran the Met Mile at Saratoga this year, and they run it out of that kind of unique turf or dirt chute, where it ends up being pretty much a perpendicular turn. And, you got to be pretty much on the lead and have an inside spot. You got a real advantage there on that. But this guy, tried to get to the lead, couldn't get past National Treasure that day. National Treasure was a bullet. And he ended up running wide on that first turn and running wide on the backstretch, fighting for the lead. Ended up, giving National Treasure a good fight for a good 6.5 furlongs or so, and then just backed off and finished third. But I thought ran a good race there. This doesn't look like a very high-octane speed field here in this Kelly's Landing, so Hoist to Gold can work out a nice trip if he wants to be on the lead or just maybe sitting up close. It should be a factor here, so got him in there. And I'm also going to put the 8 horse, who is Bango. Bango is, you look at the form and you say, wow, this is one of those old war horses. He's 36 starts, 14 wins, and you look at his Churchill Downs record, this horse has done most of his damage at Churchill Downs with 11 wins. And this horse is the defending champion of this Kelly's Landing race. This year, this horse has 1 start. He ran during Derby week in a minor stake, was 3-5 that day, so must have been looking good coming into that race that he got bet on like that, but didn't do much there. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I'll give this horse another shot. Gaffleone takes the call back, so certainly Gaffleone has a lot of choices over at Churchill Downs. So I like Bango maybe to repeat here in this race. So I've got the 1, the 5, and the 8. All right, now let's go over to the 11th race. The 11th race is the one that everyone's been waiting for. That's the Stephen Foster. That's the 11th race of the day. It's the Grade 1, mile and an eighth on the dirt. Stephen Foster, $1 million purse. So this is their biggest race for older horses, for that meet. And, one of the bigger races on the racing calendar, in the handicap division. So I've got 2 horses here that I'm going to put in to try to get this pick 5 progressing along. The first horse is the 2 First Mission, who's a program favorite, 6-5. Brad Cox barn for Godolphin Stables, and Florent Giroux riding the horse. Now, Giroux has ridden this horse his last 2 starts. His horse has won by Daylight with big speed figures. Has also won as the favorite, was pretty much even money. His last 2 starts, he won the Essex over at Oaklawn by Daylight, and then followed that up with a big win in the Ali Sheba. Grade 2 Alishiba at Churchill Downs. So, excuse me, this horse certainly has a lot of talent, with 5 wins out of 8 starts. Has not won a Grade 1 yet, so this might be his chance for the Grade 1 win, to get that on his resume. So we got the 2 first mission. And I'm also going to put the 4 horse who is Disarm. Now, Disarm comes out of the Steve Asmussen barn. Joel Rosario rides and Winchell Thoroughbreds. And we've seen this trifecta come in several times, with Asmussen, Winchell, and Rosario make a pretty nice team over the years. So Disarm, this horse ran some nice races last year. Ran in the major 3-year-old races, ran in the Kentucky Derby, a fast closing 4th. And the horse, the race I like here is his race in the Travers last year. Track came up muddy at Saratoga, which Saratoga is kind of a tricky place. When it rains, it could really pour there, and the track could really just be something different. And I don't remember what it says muddy, but I don't remember what it looked like. But this horse ran a good race that day. Ended up coming second to Arcangelo, and it just shows that he's got talent. And something happened apparently after that race, because we hadn't seen this horse, since the Travers. He came out one time in mid-May, ran an allowance race at Churchill Downs. Caught just a small field, and I don't know, they were walking that day. I see the fractions here, 25 and change, 52, 116. Those are fractions you don't usually see, so they were just walking along, and this horse just, ended up breezing along, and looks to me like that's just a paid workout. I'm not going to give that race, I'm not going to criticize that race. I'm also not going to say, wow, what a race. It's just a paid workout to me. The reason I like this horse is based on what he's done last year, and should be ready off one start this year. So that would be Disarm. That's the 2 and the 4 that I've got here in the 11th race. Now let's go to the 12th race, which is the last race of the day, and also the last race of the Pick 5. This is the $250,000 Tepin. This is a mile on the grass. This is for 3-year-old fillies. And, nice competitive field. I'm glad they put this race as the 12th race, because it's a great race to have, as your final of the card, your get-out race. I've got 4 horses that I want to put in here to try to cap off this Pick 5. I'd be really happy with having a live ticket and having 4-horse coverage. It'd be a great spot to be in, I feel. So I've got the 2 horse who is Mo Fox Given. Mo Fox Given comes out of the Ron Moquette barn. Now, this horse was originally trained by Leonard Powell. Well, was with Leonard Powell over the past year or so, running in California. And, this horse showed me something when she ran with Maduro a couple times and ran pretty good races with Maduro. I'm a big fan of Maduro. I think Maduro is the best grass girl, 3-year-old grass girl in California, and we'll see if people challenge her in the Del Mar meeting. That should be interesting to see. But she ran some nice races with Maduro, and then they brought the horse, to Kentucky, ran in the Grade 2 Appalachian, ended up losing by a half length to Buchu, which Buchu's a nice horse, and Mo Fox Given made a great account of herself in that Appalachian. She ended up running during Derby week in the Edgewood yielding turf, which who knows, maybe she didn't like that, I don't know, but just kind of ran an even race there. But Mo Fox Given certainly looks a play here. 10-1 Rosario in the last leg of the Pick 5. So I've got the 2. Then let's move over. I got the 8 horse, who is Pipsy. Pipsy comes out of the William Walden barn, Flavian Pratt on the horse. And this horse ran one time here in the States. She had started her career in Ireland, and her first race stateside was back in May, early May, over at Aqueduct. Ran in the Grade 3 Soaring Softly. It was a 6-furlong grass race, and she really blew the start and ended up coming on and making a great stretch run to win that race. And, I watching that replay, I said, wow, Flavian Pratt just put another great ride on another horse. I mean, the guy's just, what a talent Flavian Pratt is. So Pipsy certainly deserves another look. We'll see if the 2-turn test at a mile, if she could do it. I don't see why she couldn't, but, she's 7-2. That would be the 8 horse Pipsy. Now I'm going to also put the 9 horse, who is Dancing Dixie from Mark Cassie and Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz has ridden this horse the last couple times, has caught a couple wet turf tracks. Looks like this horse makes, lays far back, makes a big run, and, just ends up getting a piece of these races. I just look at this race where some of these horses, you're not sure, maybe they don't want to go a mile. It's a pretty competitive field. If they cook it up early, you could see a horse like Dancing and Dixie picking up the pieces, especially with Jose Ortiz. He's been riding at Churchill Downs this entire meeting, so he certainly knows what to do over there, or anywhere for that matter. So 9-2, going to put Dancing Dixie. And then finally going to put the 11 horse, who is Just Better. Just Better out of the Steve Asmussen barn for Whisper Hill and Frankie Dettori. So can't count out Frankie Dettori on a stakes race on the turf at 12-1. Boy, wouldn't you really just not want to forgive yourself if you missed that, if he came in to pay that off. So Just Better has run a couple nice races on the turf. She broke her maiden at Fairgrounds and followed that up with a win in the slop at Keeneland. Looks like that was going to be a turf race, and that got washed off. So she showed some talent there, winning by 6 lengths there, so shows her talent. And then ended up going to Pimlico during Preakness week. Came second in the Hilltop Stakes with Frankie Dettori. So this horse certainly could run, has room for improvement. Good breeding, good trainer. Frankie Dettori, why not? I'd like to see him crossing the wire first on a live pick 5 ticket. All right, so let's recap here for this pick 5. So in the pick 5, which starts in the 8th race today, and that race, it starts, what time is the post time for today at the 8th race? The 8th race is approximate post time of 3:25 Central Time, so that would be about 1:25 West Coast time. So in the pick 5, I've got the 1-4 with the 1-7 with the 1-5-8 with the 2 and 4. That's in the Stephen Foster with the 2, 8, 9, and 11. And that ticket comes out to be a $48 play, which I feel is really worth it for me to play today for this pick 5. It could pay pretty good, and this is a nice slate of races with a bunch of stake races at Churchill Downs. So as always, add or subtract as you see fit. If you want to play pick 3s within this or play the pick 4 within this, you do what makes you comfortable. If you find win bets you like, do what you feel could make you money. This is a guide here. But yeah, I'm going to play this pick 5, for $48 and hope for the best here. So as always, I wish you the best of luck. Let's get some good trips today, because then that results in great luck. And let's see some good, safe racing. So as always, I would hope that you can hit the subscribe button. Subscribe button is doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Just gets you on the queue when there's new content. It comes up in your feed. So I would appreciate that. Like, dislike, make comments. Good or bad. I want to hear what you have to say. And, let me know who you might like and who you might want to be betting today. So I just want to create some discussion. So as always, thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching.